anybody do what you did?
No, not gonna
Right.
happen.
I was 17. Like,
Oh god.
do you think that helped you in what you do now?
No, not at all.
Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to Unfiltered Fashion Talks. Today we have another long-awaited guest. We have Kachi from THISISKACHI with us. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you very much.
I'm so excited to have you on here. You're one of the most highly requested guests. I feel like you and Kiana were my both like more highly requested people, so I'm excited to finally
feel
have
so
you here.
honored.
Yes.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited too.
Of course. So give us a little intro of yourself, like, who are you? What do you do?
So I am a German. I guess that's the first thing.
Yes.
I'm from Germany.
Yes.
I am a design and pattern maker. I have like my own pattern store and make YouTube videos and tutorials and try to teach my audience all the tips and tricks, how to sew, how to make patterns and stuff like that. So yeah.
Perfect. And that is why my audience likes you, because you are definitely the pattern making type. Let's get into how you started with like fashion, because last time we spoke, you told me the whole story and I was actually so shocked because I don't think I'd ever heard anybody do what you did. So give us that story.
Well, it's a fun story because like people who know me from like my school days, they know that I'm like into math and like I wanted to be a doctor or a math teacher or whatever, like normal stuff. And I was searching for universities and like, what to do after my graduation from school. And it just so happened that I found fashion design. And that just was intriguing, I guess. Like it's nothing that I ever heard before, like being a course at university. So I was like, okay, sounds cool, I'll just apply. And it just so happened that they accepted my application and here we are.
That is so crazy to me. I always tell people, like, if you're gonna go into fashion, it should be something that you've always done, that you're super passionate about. But then like here you are and you're like, oh, that sounds fun, but now it's like your career. Like,
yeah, what? Exactly. And like people, like teachers in class, they for getting to know their students, they ask around like, what's your background, how did you get into fashion? Everybody was like, yeah, I've always wanted to do that, it was my dream come true, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, just found it.
Like, I like math.
Yeah, I guess it's similar, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, definitely, like you definitely do a lot of pattern making, which is a lot of math, so it does make sense, but it's a more creative math than like,
which is in a sense perfect for me, because to me, like my passions lay in creativity, teaching, and math, and pattern making is all of that combined in a way. So
exactly,
it really makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
It definitely does.
The way there.
It's the way that you got there is so funny to me. Yeah, so once you were like in university and you were like studying it, like when did you realize that like, oh, like this is actually what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Well, I never realized that. I haven't even realized that up until now. Like to me, this is like I live in the moment. I don't really plan like my whole life to be whatever I'm doing right now.
But
it's just unrealistic in my opinion.
Yeah.
So for me during my studying, that just was a lot of fun. I had so much fun learning everything that I learned there, and it was just for that time, like now as well, but like for that time was just a very very nice thing to learn. And I don't even know if we talked about that when we called the first time, but after I did my bachelor in fashion design, I went to like do my master's in marketing and management.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Like not that. Yeah, like it's not at all the path. So I did something completely different then, just for 1.5 years, so a very short period of time. But that was super boring, which is why I am back at creative stuff again. and that's like, I now am building up my brand, and I have a lot of fun doing it with my best friend. We're together in this, and it's just an amazing thing to be doing for your living, which is I'm so grateful for. So I don't plan, but like I hope to be doing that
yes,
for a long time, and successfully so
yes, that's important.
yeah.
Yeah, so when did you start your like YouTube channel and your actual like pattern making business?
Pretty recently, actually.
Right.
I started my YouTube. I mean, my channel exists for 9 years, 8 years, 9 years, something like that. So for a long time, but I've never uploaded anything. And I've always heard from people around me, acquaintances and so on, to just, you're doing fashion design and sewing and stuff. That's interesting. Just, drop a YouTube video and just see how it goes. So I was like, yeah, sure. Never did it.
Right.
And then at some point, when I was doing TikTok, like when COVID started, I was bored like everybody else. So I started a TikTok account.
Me too.
And yeah, it was a thing.
Yep.
And I was just like, okay, I was doing a lot of like the creative photography, I guess, which got boring at some point because it's very repetitive. Like you've done so much at some point, so I was like, okay, what else can I do? And I just did some fashion stuff. Like I made a big princess dress, and it kind of went viral. Like I got, I don't know, like 300k views, like for me, viral,
right, that was
like
a lot.
TikTok,
Yeah.
And I just also made a video out of it in the usual format for YouTube and uploaded it as well, and nothing happened. I was just like, yeah, okay. And on TikTok it went well, like the short small videos, they're okay.
Yep.
But like my 30-minute like thing where I actually put a lot of work and effort in, like nobody watched it.
Right.
And then a few months later, so I uploaded it in like June or whatever, I don't remember exactly, but I uploaded it in summer, and then a few months later, it just got views all of a sudden out of nowhere. And it like just quick started my channel. Basically, I went from 0 to 10k in a week or something. Just
that's crazy.
Totally crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how that happened, but it picked up, and it has like over 500k views now, I think, on YouTube.
Dang.
And that just got everything started. And from that point on, I was just like, okay, I guess that's what I'm doing now. And I uploaded every week or every other week or so from that point on. And that was in September 2020. So it's like 1.5 years now, my YouTube channel.
That's crazy. Wow. That's like crazy growth.
I know, like it came out of nowhere because I already, like, the chapter YouTube with that one video was closed for me already. Like I just graduated from my master's and like was doing that parallel to it, and did not expect anything to, come from that. And then like that, it just went up, and I was like, huh? Why now? Like it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You think in my university in marketing and management, maybe you'll talk about the YouTube algorithm or how like viral videos or whatever work.
No,
nobody
knows.
Yeah,
I feel like every other platform has like an algorithm you can kind of figure out. YouTube, I don't know. You never know.
No.
Sometimes I'm like, I film a video and I'm like, I think this is going to do so great. And it doesn't. And then one of the videos I don't care about is like, oh, this is doing really great.
Yeah, right. So you know what the rule is? Don't expect anything. And then you just get the views.
Yeah, seriously, though.
Not get disappointed.
No, that's literally how it was for me too. Like one of the videos that kickstarted my channel was some random scrunchy video I made in high school that randomly picked up like years later. And I was like, this is embarrassing because that's not how I made scrunchies now. This is like an awful method. And I was like a child.
True. Like if there is such a big span in between upload and going viral.
Yeah, it was like a couple years for me. God. It was like literally high school. I think I was 17. Like
oh god, I think we don't complain. We like, no, thank you.
Yes, like it's great. but also it's like, this is so embarrassing. This is so cringy.
I know, I get that. Like, I don't watch my old videos.
Oh,
It's just too embarrassing.
No, me too. Not even like ones that I uploaded like a month ago. I'm like, oh.
I'm fine with that. For
can't.
me, it gets embarrassing after I had like some significant change in my makeup routine.
Yes.
So like I was big into the eyebrow game.
Oh.
I cannot look at myself a year later now, and it's just super embarrassing. And I had the eyebrows when I started with my channel.
No, that's so funny.
No. It's horrible.
Oh no. So did you start making patterns with that first video that went viral, or did you start making them afterwards?
No, I didn't start with pattern making. That was just the thing my community asked me to do.
I figured,
thankfully.
Because I get asked all the time, I just don't do it.
Right?
It's
so much work. I mean, I get
it. It is. It's a lot.
No, people like ask me like, can I buy your patterns? Where can I get your patterns from? And I was like, nowhere.
Right.
You want them? And it just so happened that people were interested. So I was like, okay, I guess I gotta figure all of that out. And in like, it's been a year,
right,
give or take now, that I started with pattern making. And so January 2021, I think. I just uploaded my first patterns, horrible sewing instructions. Like I took them offline already or reworked them.
Right.
Like, you're not going to get that now. I just didn't know anything. Like I've never, literally never bought a pattern from stores because, you know, like when I got interested in pattern making, I learned how to do it myself. So there wasn't a time where I was like relying on patterns from a store.
Right.
Don't know how that looked. I was figuring out everything myself, how to digitize patterns, how to grade. Writing sewing instructions in my second language. And, you know, it just, you know, you learn from that, from feedback from your community and so on and so forth. Like you can compare the patterns that I sold back then to the ones that I have right now. Like it's such a difference.
Yeah.
Which, like, thank God, because that was embarrassing. But you know, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, you definitely do. No, I feel that. I have thought about selling patterns like so much. I'm always so like on and off. But then thinking about having to write the sewing instructions, I'm like, nope. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Like I don't even know how to think about that, especially like for you doing it in your second language is so much more difficult. Well, I feel like
because it's a different vocabulary. We talked about that in our call before. It's so funny that we're just copying whatever we told before, but like it's a different vocabulary that you have to learn, which you have to learn in your native language as well if you know learn a new field, of course. So to me, it wasn't like too big of a problem because like I was fluent in English before I started with my channel, because of big influences here. Like everything is in English as well. If you want to watch a Netflix show or whatever, you can watch it in the native language, whatever it was filmed in. It's usually English or Spanish, big thing nowadays, but you know. So I very much influenced by all of the media, and to just, you know, expand that vocabulary to be fashion related or sewing related, it came naturally in a way, because since I was doing YouTube in English from the very start, talking about sewing stuff, I had to learn it already for that. And just writing that down, you know, wasn't too big of a problem. It was just the problem of writing every single step down. Like jumping over my shadow of like, come on, you know that. Like, no, people don't know. People did not go to university or to classes, and you know, they try to learn with your instructions or videos or whatever. So of course you have to make it as easy and as like easy to follow as possible, so that you can, you know, teach everybody, which is so cool in my opinion. And you have to learn that, like, to write it very understandable. But that also comes with time, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like that would be so difficult for me, even when I'm making like simple tutorial videos. Trying to think of like how to dumb it down as much as possible is so hard. I'm like, oh, this is a given.
Yeah.
You should know how to do this. But I'm like, no, they might
No, you
not
don't.
know. You got to like
Yeah.
really say everything again. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Which is a beautiful thing to be able to,
Mhm.
give that knowledge to people who are interested in and might not have
Yeah.
the possibility to, get a school education on it or whatever.
Yeah. I think that's really cool. So digitizing patterns. Did you learn that in school or
Yeah.
did you teach yourself?
Um. Well, I'm using Adobe Illustrator.
Right.
That
That's what I like
was
to use too.
Yeah. I love that program so much.
Right.
Like once you understand how it works, it's
Yeah.
just it's amazing.
Yeah.
We learned in school how to use all Adobe, but not all. Of course, not all. Like they have so many, but
Right.
like illustration programs like
Yes.
InDesign, Photoshop,
Yeah.
Illustrator, Lightroom, and so on. So we got taught that in university,
Mhm.
technically, but not really.
Yeah.
I just had a big interest in, at that time, Photoshop because I was drawing
Right.
digitally, hard word. So I had some understanding on how Adobe programs work. So if you already have the basics, to add another program to that is not too difficult because they
Right.
all kind of work the same.
They do.
Um, and to, specify your usage of the program to a specific field like pattern making or creating the pattern,
Mhm.
you just have to learn. I
Yeah.
just learned by myself, just trying out. I also know that's not true. I actually watched some YouTube tutorials
Mhm.
on people grading in Illustrator. That was very helpful to like get the
Yes.
shortcuts and stuff.
Yes.
Really helpful. But after a few times of doing it, your hands just do it
Yeah.
by themselves.
No, that's very true. It's funny because I watched your tutorials to learn how to do it.
I I watched your video today and you were like, yeah, the one where you rebranded your podcast,
Uh-huh.
and you were talking about how January is going to be your behind the scenes
Right.
work month, and you're digitizing your patterns, and we talked
Yes.
about it before, right? So I was like,
Yeah, no, I literally, and it was unintentional, but I literally looked up like digitizing patterns in Illustrator and your video popped up and I didn't know it was your video until I like clicked on it because like you're not in the thumbnail of it. So I didn't like look at the channel name or anything. And then I clicked and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Kachi. Like
so
what?
cool.
Yeah.
Know that. Like
So
it's crazy.
it is. So thank you for
Well, I
teaching
hope
me.
it helps. Yes, you're very welcome.
Yeah, no, it
That
definitely
is
did
so
help.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny to me. So yeah, it was helpful. I feel like YouTube is a great tool because I also like
It's
in
amazing.
school we also learned all the Adobe things that are
Hmm.
relevant, but they never taught us like specifically making patterns on Adobe. We
Yeah,
just
no.
learned Adobe. So your video was quite
Yeah.
helpful.
Well, I'm glad that it helped you. It's hilarious to me that was like it baffles me every time that
Mhm.
people, like, also on Etsy, when like a friend of mine sent a screenshot of their Etsy where I was just in the
Right.
recommended, and
Yes,
I was
that's
like,
happened to
what?
me too. It's so
That
weird
I
because
was in the recommend?
yeah,
No,
I
that
don't
you were in the
even
recommended.
no,
What?
you
Really?
were on my yeah, because I'm not on
No.
I don't sell on Etsy. I've never bought a pattern on Etsy, but Etsy just knows I like sewing things because I buy sewing supplies on there sometimes. Your
Yeah,
patterns have popped up,
that's
Kiana's patterns
so
have
funny.
popped up,
Oh
and I'm
yeah, she
like,
popped up for me too.
yeah, I'm like, do they know me? Like, do they know I talk to you guys? Like, what is this?
It's crazy. They all know. Like
They
all
do.
the big companies know.
I swear they do. It is so crazy
Yeah.
to me. I'm like, how does this happen? But yeah, I think it's funny how it's like the internet community feels so big, but then things like that happen and it just feels so small at the same time. Like it's such a
Yeah.
small world.
But
It's so weird.
sewing and like sewing community and like DIY, but not DIY, DIY, especially the sewing community is not
Yes,
too big, I feel
that
like.
is very true. I feel like I know
Right?
everyone. Yeah, kind of.
I don't feel like that. But like, you've seen the people on YouTube pop up
Yes.
or whatever before, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the specific people, I don't know, like the big 20 people or whatever,
Yep.
and you've seen them and you kind of feel like you know them,
Yes, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
It's really cool to have like this space, and it's
Yeah.
not too big, so I really
I
like that.
know. It is kind of nice because I feel like that also allows us all to grow even more because there's not as much like competition. Although I don't feel like anybody's competition to each other because like everybody has such different design styles that you're just going to get something different from everybody. Like nobody's really the same.
Like
But
I'm not a very competitive person. I
I'm
think
not
competition
either.
is great, but to an extent, you know?
Right.
So to me, it's just bad energy if you're so
Yes.
competitive. Like
Yeah.
just be friends and you're gonna help each other
Exactly.
way more. Like
Exactly. Yeah, no. And I feel like a lot of people are like that in the sewing space, which is like really nice. Like I've only had like good
yeah, really
interactions with
appreciate that.
people. Yeah, like I've never felt
Yeah, so
like
far me too.
weird vibes with anybody, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So, within your like pattern making and stuff, have you ever like made a pattern and like it just sucks and you absolutely hate it?
All the time, of course. Yeah.
How
Like
often does that like how often do you have to like redo things and like like do you have an idea and then you do it and you're like this actually is awful? Because that happens to me all the time.
um well, I have a specific thing in mind.
Mhm.
It's on my YouTube channel because I also like to share the fails because that's
Yes.
just human, I guess.
Yes.
And I have one in the thumbnail, it just said, this is one big failure or something like that. Like it's literally named like that
Yes.
because I hated it so much. It was like I named it like Belle's corset or something like that. It was
Mhm.
a bodice in yellow, looked horrible, did not work out at all. Like I was trying to drape
Mhm.
velvet on the bust
Oof.
area and it just did not work out. And then I was like, well, great, it kind of looks good now. How do you translate the drape part into a pattern and then grade it? Like impossible for me at that time.
Yeah, no.
And no, and then having a deadline for me 1 week of
Mhm.
doing stuff, it just put a lot of pressure on me. And at some point I was just like, yeah, okay, no, not gonna
Right.
happen. I really hate it now. Like I have so much negative like thoughts on this added on to it in the course of that week. I'm just gonna leave it, deal with it.
Right.
Community, audience, whatever, it's a fail. I also make mistakes. Like I hope you don't hate me. And people really like that, actually, that I uploaded a video like that.
Yes. Yeah.
They appreciate it because I'm like I am a professional, I guess. I hate that word,
I know.
but like I
I
know
do
what I'm
too.
doing.
Yes.
Right, I know what I'm doing, and like showing people that also people with educational background make mistakes just
Mhm.
makes them feel very comfortable, like they're
Yes.
not alone. It just happens all the time to everybody,
Mhm.
and it's totally normal. So like that's the
Yeah.
message for today.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Mistakes always normal.
Yes. No, that I feel like that's a common thing with everybody I talk to. Everybody's always like, yeah, we are always making mistakes. Like pattern making still is hard for people, even that they've done it
Yeah,
forever. Like there's always going to be
always.
something that you're like,
Yeah,
I have no clue how to do this. Like, you know,
definitely. And then
yeah,
you just trial and error, and at some point it works out or it doesn't. So it's just that.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which I love. What has been your favorite pattern that you've made or like favorite design that you've made?
My coat. I
Oh
love
my
my
gosh.
coat.
I love your coat too. I have only ever made
It's
one
amazing.
coat and it just intimidates me so much because there's so many steps to it.
No, that's what I love about it.
Oh, see, I can't.
Because I love it so much because I like working on thicker materials,
Mhm,
thicker fabrics, whatever, because you
mhm.
just have something in your hand. You could just guide it through your sewing machine, and then you have all these intricate parts on the inside where you're just like, haha, I know what's on the inside, you don't. Like it's just funny to me. Um,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate the craft behind it,
Mhm.
to know what goes on the inside. And the coat is just a combination about a lot of things that went well for me at that
Mhm.
point. So I love the fabric. It's a very unique pattern, a very unique fabric.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm just gonna bring it because people might not know
Yes.
it.
Yes. I'm like, I know
Yes, yes,
exactly what you're
yes.
talking about,
Yeah,
but
you
please.
do.
Yeah. I'm like, I look at the Instagram posts. I see it.
Yeah. So that's the fabric right
Oh,
here.
such a beautiful
So it's like
fabric.
it's amazing, and it's like fur. It's obviously not real fur, but
Right.
it has like a furry structure,
Oh, that's
and
so
it's really
nice.
really nice. And it's like oversized and has drop shoulders and like a big lapel. All the things I love.
I love that.
And a double-breasted coat. Love that.
Wow.
Yeah, so not to brag or anything, but
no, you should brag.
no,
because
I love
that's
it.
Beautiful.
I love it so much.
Yes.
And it was so much fun. It was so fulfilling to like finish this coat
Yeah.
because it just worked out in the end, and that's like the best feeling ever.
Oh my God, yeah. Especially with something that is like more complicated and has so many more like
Yeah.
steps and little finishes that people don't think about or like
Yeah,
realize.
that you don't see it because it's hidden on the
Exactly.
inside.
Exactly.
So that's really, really nice. Yes.
Yeah,
my
I
coat,
love that one. It's so beautiful. Like I would buy that. So
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you. I just don't have the
course.
fabric anymore. People ask me already about that. And I was
Yeah.
like, I would love to, but I don't have fabric anymore.
That's so sad.
But you can buy the pattern.
Yeah. Find the fabric yourself and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it is a possibility. Do you sell things that you make ever? Like, is that something you do too, or do you only do the patterns and stuff like that?
You mean like finished clothing?
Yeah, like actual finished clothing.
I had one collection drop last spring.
Mm-hmm.
I sold a couple of pieces, but it was just too much of a hassle.
Yeah.
And like time and like what you get from it, I guess.
Yeah.
It didn't balance out,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't repeat it, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about dropping another collection because Dennis and I, so like my best friend who's like with me in this whole thing, we went to university together. He also studied fashion design with me, so he knows the things. And he's very creative too, but he has a different aesthetic, I guess. So us together, we made his bachelor collection together. So we already worked on a collection. We designed it together. We manufactured it together. We did the photo shoot, everything together. So we work quite well. Also in that aspect.
That's really nice.
So it's amazing. Like it's so good to have somebody reliable from the field to work together with.
Yeah.
So we're talking, whatever, about doing a collection maybe in the future together. Not at the moment. Nothing's planned. Like
right.
But we're thinking, you know.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. I feel like it's rare to find somebody you can work with in that aspect. Creatively, I think it's hard to find somebody that can work well with you because sometimes you just like clash with people. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. So do you guys like work together for like everything you do?
No, we have very specific fields that we like divide basically.
Right.
So I am doing everything for Etsy. That's all my thing. Like I'm doing all of that alone, pattern making, you know. And then YouTube is also I don't know what that was. YouTube is also my thing. So I film on my own. I do not cut anymore. So I have a cutter, thank God.
That is so nice.
Thank you, Kevin.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Shout out to Kevin. No, it's a blessing to at least have that out of my hands. Very, very nice. And then like he helps me with all of the social media. So every reel that you see, he makes, like he cuts,
that's so
he uploads.
Cool.
Amazing.
Yes.
One less thing to worry about. So we shoot together, obviously. Like
gotcha.
When I'm in the reel, obviously I'm there. And then also in the end of my YouTube videos, you can you know see the garment worn by me and modeled, and he shoots that with me too.
Gotcha.
And takes pictures and stuff. So that's what he does, and then he does the management stuff as well.
That's so nice. That's like a good balance.
It's a really good balance. Yeah. It's like all the stuff that I don't want to do, he can do.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm trying to.
It sounds so bad, but
no, but like, you know, people like different things, and some people like to do all that management stuff. So you just got to find somebody that like evens it out.
Like I have the masters in management or something.
Exactly. It's like somebody has to do it, and somebody likes to do it, so it's okay.
Yeah, he I think likes it. He tells me that he likes it. So
I hope so.
I'll take his word.
That's so funny. Okay, this is a random question, but do you think did your like master's in marketing, do you think that helped you in what you do now?
No, not at all. I just have an MA now, that's all.
That's so funny because I've always wondered if like business degrees really help that much to an
I mean, I
extent.
can't generalize it.
I mean, yes,
I
of
don't know.
course, but
I guess like if you do like I don't know the English word for that. Like is it business administration? Like
yeah, I
when
mean,
you want to be like
there's a lot of different business degree titles. Like there's so many.
yeah. Okay. Like in German we call it BWL. Betriebswirtschaftslehre.
Yeah, that's what we call it too.
I bet.
Yeah.
So I bet if you have something like that as your background, I bet that's helping, like especially for taxes and stuff.
Oh my god. Yeah, don't.
But if you just have 1.5 years, like no, it doesn't do anything. It just, if you were to be an employee somewhere, then you just get a better paid. That's all.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, that's not very. I was going to say that I hope that helps you in some way, but you're working for yourself, so unless it gives you a better raise from yourself, you just pay yourself better. But okay.
Yeah. No, of course not.
That's so funny. That's so interesting.
I guess it helped me up here mentally, I don't know, to come to the place where I am right now, to like think stuff through, like know that I don't want to be employed, that I want to be self-employed and do my own thing and stuff. So I guess it matured me in that kind of way.
Right.
But I could have also just traveled for 1.5 years, let's be honest.
Oof. Yeah, that would have been nice.
It's just the time frame that helped me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So I feel like we kind of talked about future plans, and I know you said you're not a planner, but like
to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, to an extent. I feel like you just can't plan that much nowadays because you never know what's gonna happen. But like general things that you want to like do in life, like
what are some big? Oh, that's big.
I mean that is kind of big. You don't have to go like full in depth, but like
well, in 20 years, I want to be
like you talked about your collection with your friend, like that would be like something possibly there. Is there anything else that you would want to like do?
I hope to like come out with tools, my own tools, like
that
my
would be
own,
cool.
I don't know, a ruler, scissors, measuring tape, stuff like that. Like stuff as a person who sews or makes patterns just needs on a daily basis.
Yes.
So that would be amazing to like, I don't know how, but that would be something that I'm thinking about.
That would be so cool.
Just thinking. That would be really, really cool. Or I'm quite comfortable where I am at the moment.
That's good.
So I just hope to grow whatever I'm doing right now to be bigger and better,
right,
and to have a lot of fun while doing it. So
that's good. That's simple. No, I love that. I feel like that's important, because I feel like sometimes we think about the future too much and we don't like remember to just like what we're doing now,
yeah.
So,
and especially when the work gets like too much and you just can't rest too much and process whatever you're doing, it's just not fun anymore, and that's very sad in my opinion. If like something that you truly love becomes something that you hate or like don't like to do anymore, it's the worst thing ever. Had that happen to me, not cool, cannot recommend. So always step back, look at what you do, relax, like take your time. Very important also for your mental health and stuff.
Yes, that is very important. And speaking on that, how do you like balance possibly being like burnt out from what you're doing and like resting? Do you have a good balance? Are you still working on it? I feel like I'm still working on it.
I'm definitely still working on it. It's very hard as a person who is self-employed to have a start and an end. Like you don't have a 10 to 5 or whatever it's called. Like you just don't have that. You step into the office and step home and that's it, Your home is your office.
Exactly.
I mean, ideally it isn't.
Right, ideally, but
that's the thing that I want to accomplish, like have my own office.
Oh my god, me too. That would be so nice.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, not yet there because it's also really expensive here.
Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I my cat is doing a lot for me. Like she's my mental health pet, I guess.
Love that.
It's amazing. And then I just also go out with friends a lot and chill and like
Yeah.
not talk about work, which is very important. Even though like
Yes.
my friends group is also my work group in a way.
Right. Right.
But you just have to, find the balance and look out for yourself and listen to your body and stuff. Like I just at some point sit alone on my couch
Yep.
and watch random YouTube videos just to
Yep.
relax. And then other days I have free and I'm like, I just don't want to lay around, but I don't have anything to do. It feels horrible.
Exactly.
Like, it's like sometimes like this, sometimes like that. And you just have to find a balance and listen to yourself and, go from there.
Right. No, I think that's very true. I'm the same way. Like sometimes I'm definitely on the couch watching YouTube videos, and other days I'm like, I don't want to do that at all. But also I need to do something to not be working. Because
Exactly.
it's hard because you always have something you could be doing. Like the work doesn't end, which like is so bad.
I mean, I kind of love that. I'm
right.
I'm very work oriented.
Me too.
And I really like working.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean,
yes.
That's the best possibility, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but you also never stop.
Yeah, that's the only bad side. I'm like, it's good because you're always productive, you get things done, like you're self-disciplined, but also maybe sometimes a little too much, and then you don't know how to rest as well. So yeah, me too. It's rough, but it's okay. We get to do what we like, totally. So it's a good thing.
Not complaining.
Exactly.
Not complaining at all.
Exactly. Thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Where can people find you? Shout yourself out.
Well, on all of my socials, so Instagram, TikTok, and of course YouTube and Etsy is all the same handle. THISISKACHI is the name. And yeah, I'll see you there, I guess. Hopefully.
Yes. No, I will have all the links down below in the description so you guys can check it out. I definitely recommend. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you so much. It was so much fun talking to you again.
Yes, again. And hopefully again in the future as well.
Hopefully, yes. Many times. I would love to.
Yes. Okay. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.